Hello, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're doing our shaky cam interior review inside a 2019 Honda Pilot. The Pilot has been redone a little bit this year. They didn't change any of the underpinnings and stuff, but they did change the look of it a little bit. It's much better looking, I would say. And they changed the interior. They changed the interior a fair amount. It's a much better, more I don't know, modern, upscale. I don't know what to say, but it is a much better interior. You can already see some of those changes if you remember when we did the 2018 model. This is the same trim level as that 2018, so everything you're seeing different is actually different for 2019. Really like this look. It's just really good for this vehicle. Also like the Passport. I finally got to spend a little bit of time in that, hoping to get a lot more time in that very soon. So without further ado, though, let's start jumping into it. So this stuff hasn't changed much. Doors, windows, etc. These are pretty much as they were before. Down here, you'll see some buttons and switches. These are mostly the same. This Econ button, it was not there before, but otherwise it's there you go. That's obviously for fuel economy. I noticed that it does deaden the throttle a little bit, and the transmission gets much more aggressive about shifting up and a lot less aggressive about shifting down. So that's where that fuel economy is coming from. Here's your mirror adjustments. Down here, this stuff is, as I recall, it's exactly where it was before. So you have your parking sensors over there, lane keeping down there, your crash mitigation up there, and your traction control right there. And down there on the door, you can see there's the rear hatch, there's the fuel, and right there is the hood release. So jumping over here to the steering wheel, the look is a lot different, but the layout is about the same as it was before. So over here you have your infotainment controls, and then down here you have some telematics. This is the voice control button. If you have a phone plugged in, Android Auto and or Apple CarPlay, you can hold this down a little bit longer and you'll end up with the equivalent, the Google or Siri voice commands things. This goes to the home menu over there, which looks like that. I'll show you that again in a minute. That infotainment has changed in terms of looks. It's changed a lot. And then volume controls are here. On this side, you have your cruise control stuff. Pretty straightforward. You turn on the main right here. This is your the steering assist, which helps you hold the lane. Kind of nice. It works pretty well. This is steering wheel heat, which I probably should have on right now because it is very cold, but it's not that bad. I have the seat warmers on, so good to go. And then this is the following distance right here. So most of that is pretty obvious, but you get used to this really quickly. I like the way it's done. And you can move up and down in single increments, or you can hold it and get fives. This has NASCAR paddle shifting. And then over here you have your lighting stuff. So it's your signal turns as usual, and then your lighting for the headlamps and so on. I've just been leaving it on auto. It's pretty good about deciding what it should be doing. Over here you have your washer wipers, etc. So twist this for the rear, and then all this runs the front. You can just pop it up to get a quick wipe. You can run it down onto auto. I've not been leaving it on auto because it sometimes just triggers itself for no obvious reason that I can see. I believe it's just because maybe, you know, some dust or something got in front of the camera that senses that. And then over here is the speed control for those. Now here's the first of the changes you're going to be seeing. Hopefully there's not too much glare. It's kind of difficult because of where I am. But so you can see down in here, over here we have the engine heat. Over there you have fuel, and here I have it showing the you know, what I've done for my trip and so forth. So you can see 378 miles, 21 miles a gallon average. I have about 100 miles of fuel range left. In that driving that you're seeing right there, I did add 4 gallons of fuel for a fuel economy test, specifically for a highway test. And I did that honestly because I was not believing that number. I thought that number was way too good. And it turns out that number, which includes some city driving as well, it's about half and half. That number is totally the truth. This thing will easily pull 25 and 26 miles a gallon on the highway. So that's amazingly good for a vehicle this size. Up here you have your tachometer, and this will change according to what you're doing on the control screen or control buttons. So you remember this is infotainment. These up and down actually control that driver information screen. So does this enter key. And the back button as well, if you're doing stuff over there. These control audio. So there you go. I'll show you a little more on that in a second here. So that's basically what you're looking at. There's the usual array of suspects on this. So if I page through them, which for some reason is not working, why not? There we go. So you can see there's, if you're doing a little bit of off-road, which I did do in this, but not a lot of it. I was just wanting to see how it would perform. You can see where your torque is going. You can look at, here's your phone, navigation stuff, what's going on the infotainment, maintenance alerts, etc. So it's basically what you find on most every vehicle. I like this setup because it's clear and easy to read, so that's a good thing to me. So there you go. Over here we have the vents and the infotainment. The infotainment screen is, as far as I know, functionally and everything else, it's exactly the same as it was last year. The difference is the screen has been repositioned. It's a little bit clearer, and it's just a nicer kind of a setup for this screen. So it is a little bit easier to use. You tend to get less glare. I've noticed that I got less glare and fingerprinting on this one. Mostly, I think, just because they changed the cant just slightly, and that has made a big difference in how it operates. Most of the usual array of things you would expect to find on a screen like this. Works really well, works really fast. This is kind of nice because you can just plug in a USB and play right off of it. So like, a USB stick. And then this takes you to the main menu, which we were looking at, and then your back buttons and so on. Nighttime, you can grab that button right there and you can dim it or shut it off really quick. Also cool. You can do all the apps in one quick screen like this, but I did not find that to be very intuitive. This is way better. Swipes and things also work, so you don't have to use those buttons. I just use them because it's easier, like when you're driving, to not screw it up. Then going down, we have the Duke's lights right there. Passenger airbag alert. Right here is the climate controls. Pretty straightforward. Use these up and down to change the temperature you want. You can sync everything here, including the rear. Rear settings are down here, so you can hit this. This changes to show the rear. I've turned everything off because it blows into the microphone. But it's pretty obvious and straightforward. You don't really need to know anything special to run this stuff. It's pretty cool. This right here is the entertainment system. So this will play DVDs. There's a TV in the back, so this has the rear seat entertainment stuff, wireless headphones and all that. Bun warmers, bun coolers, and eject. Pretty clear. This is wireless charging pad. Here's your 12-volt cigarette plug, and here is your USB, and also an aux plug. I believe, was there an aux plug in there? Maybe not. Nope, the aux plug. So there's only the one aux plug, I guess. I thought there were two. So there you go. There's that. Here's the shifter, the weird Honda shifters. I did see in the Passport why this is useful. I don't see how in this vehicle it's ever going to help anything. It's taking up just as much space as a shifter like this. But in the Passport, there's a spot down under here because they just need that little bit in the electronics that leaves a lot of space under here where you can throw stuff. They did not do that in this vehicle. So there you go. Down here, this is your terrain management. I would suggest using this when the weather gets bad. Use that snow mode. It works really well in this vehicle. And that's about all you got to know. Down here, this is the auto start stop. You can toggle it off if you don't like it. Over here is your drink holders. They hold giant American big gulps, so good sized. This is awesome. And the reason it's awesome is because you can just drop something right here. You got a purse, you got a phone, you got stuff you just want to dump. You drop it right here. It's right there. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't slide off. Good. This is great. My fiance has been dropping her purse right there. You can put other things right there. And then underneath, you still have all that storage. So the more permanent stuff. Here is the aux port with this other USB. And then there's another 12 volt plug. So very, very well done. I really like this setup. Useful storage in this vehicle. And you can just see the colors, really pretty. And then you'll notice the dash design. So last year it was a more bulkier, kind of a flatter faced, bulkier looking dash. This is a much better looking, more sweeping, prettier, lifted a little bit, a lot more leg room. It feels like, anyway. I don't know that there is, but it feels like there is. Drink holders over there in the door. They're also on the driver's side and also on the rear doors. And then you can see just some general storage. You can see just the prettiness of this design. It's just really well done. The back seats, boom. This has the captain's chairs, and then you can see one of the third rows is up. This is the just really nicely done, really comfortable back there. I spent some time sitting back there. Excuse me. Spent some time sitting back there and really liked it. Built-in sunshades, all that good stuff. Really like this layout in this car. Also like this. I wish it was adjustable because I've seen the new ones like in the Chryslers where you can adjust it. Because for me, I'm too tall, so I'm barely seeing. I'm mostly just looking at us in the front seat and not really the rear. I would like to see that be able to adjust to go like this so I could see the back better. Otherwise, the only other complaint I have with the Pilot is it's still loud on the highway. It is not a quiet highway drive like some of the competitors. But otherwise, really good vehicle. Honda did a very good job. The Pilot is one of many very competitive 3 rows going on right now. So there you go. This has been Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com in the 2019 Honda Pilot. Talk to you again soon.